Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about how the renewed mind has some evidence. You see, many people talk about renewing their mind, but it becomes almost just a procedural thing where they're learning a few little things here and there, but the reality is their life isn't changing any. And just loading up your mind with a bunch of knowledge, while good, isn't going to renew the mind. Renewing the mind's a different thing. It is where you are absorbing that information and it's becoming part of, so to speak, your DNA, your spiritual DNA. So those old programs you had, those limiting ideas, those limiting mindsets are now going by the wayside, being replaced and reprogrammed with this renewed mind. And yet, how many people are still talking the same doubt and unbelief and lack of faith and lack of abundance and lack of opulence and lack of luxury and lack of wealth and lack of riches, which is all revolves around a lack of faith in God. Romans 12:2 says this, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." Now think about that. Is the perfect will of God for your life that you be sick? Is the perfect will of God for your life that you be miserable? Is the perfect will of God for your life that you be poor? These are things to really think about. Because if your mind is really renewed, then why isn't it proving what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God? Now, here's one of the things that many people don't want to hear, but sometimes you're going to have to change your associations. It could be friends, it could be family members that you associate with. Maybe you just need to, you know what? Until you change this, I can't keep talking to you. I've talked with people who say, well, I talk with my sister, or I talk with my brother, or I talk with my mother, or I talk with my father, or I talk with whoever, and every time it's this problem and it's negativity and it's always, and it's inane conversations and babbling about this person's bad or politics or the weather. It's just useless. Well, then why are you calling them? You say, well, but it's my brother or it's my mother. Listen, I get that. But if you're going to call them, rise up in faith and power and be a person that's directing the conversation. Now, I get that it's easier to just fall in line and because you don't want to really talk about what they're talking about. So you just kind of, okay, yeah, and let them ramble and babble this negativity. But you're going to have to say, no, we're not talking about that. Let's talk about this. Now, here's one of the ways you can do that without them even knowing that you're directing the conversation. But instead of calling and saying, how are you doing, to somebody who you know is going to have something negative to say. And this is one of the things that many people say, well, I know if I call, they're going to say, you already know what they're going to say. Why are you calling them in the first place? It's a complete waste of time. It's basically repetitive because you already know what's going to be said. But here's the thing you can do. Instead of asking how things are going when you know they're going to respond with something negative, you be the person of a renewed mind. Redirect that. Oh, it's great to hear from you. It's great to talk to you. You sure sound good today. You sure sound like you're feeling great today. And direct it that way. Instead of asking how they're doing, which immediately they have that reaction, that gut reaction of the negativity they like to spew. You, as a person of a renewed mind, have directed the conversation to something positive. Now, they may still get off track, but at least you're starting the process of redirecting the conversation to something good. But even that, you're going to have to really stop some of these conversations. And if you can't be honest with these people and tell them, listen, I want to talk about good things, things that are positive, the good things in your life, things you're grateful for. I don't want to talk about negativity. If they can't understand that, then these are not people you need to talk to, regardless of who they are, what relation they have to you. Because that's not going to be productive for you, and you're not helping them at all, because all you're doing is helping them further dig themselves a deeper hole and put themselves more into the ditch. And it doesn't help them at all. But as a person of a renewed mind, who is renewing their mind and has a renewed mind, you're going to have to make some of these changes and some of these sometimes hard decisions. I'm not telling you to get rid of friends and family or whatever, but you need to be honest. Stop going through these old motions because you've been doing them for years of listening to everybody's problems and negativity and whining and complaining and murmuring, and they will call it all kinds of things to make it sound better, especially if they're spiritual or religious types. Then they'll use flowery language to make it sound better. They're complaining and they're murmuring and they're whining, but really that's all they're doing. And all of that goes back to lack of faith in God. When you have trust and faith in God, you don't have a reason to whine. You don't have a reason to complain. You don't have a reason to murmur, because you're looking for the good, and you know that more good is going to come from your Father in heaven. He's not giving you evil things. He's giving you good things, and all good things are coming down from Him. Now, here's one of the things: if you're a Christian, you may be reading quote-unquote Christian material. And there's tons of professing Christian material. There's either sermons or seminars or books or whatever that are completely negative. They drag you down. They don't lift you up. They don't edify you. They don't make you walk away a better person. They don't help you renew your mind. Matter of fact, they drag you back to those old mindsets of doubt and unbelief. Now, many people can't catch on to it because it's very subtle. And so if you're going to some church where they're talking about politics all the time and all the negative things going on in the world, guarantee you are getting taught a negative mindset. Because people who focus around that kind of stuff never have a positive mindset. Because that's not what somebody who is focused on the good things, the things of good report, things that are lovely, things that are just, things that are holy. They're not thinking about those things. They're not meditating on those things. They're not focusing their lives around those things. You could always scurry around in the dark and try to find some negativity somewhere, and it'll be very easy to find. But wouldn't it be better to be the person of a renewed mind who is looking for the good, who has changed that mindset of looking for negativity, and instead is looking for the good in something that is perceived as negative? Something that may even be negative, but you're looking for the good that can come from it. You're looking for that just thing, that good report, that thing that's lovely, that thing that's virtuous, that thing that's praiseworthy. That's what your mindset is focused around. Because you're focused around the one who is praiseworthy, the one who is just, the one who is lovely, and the one whose kingdom is in you, as Jesus said. So my encouragement to you today is to, one, make changes to your life and who you associate with and the things you're putting into your mind if they are drawing you back, if they are negative, if they are pulling you away from faith and joy and peace and righteousness. There are too many people looking for the negative in life, and they'll find it. And because of that mindset, they will reap more negativity because they're putting that out in the world. They're talking about it, they're thinking about it, they're meditating about it, and so they're going to get more of it. I think deep down somewhere, buried inside each person, they want to have a better life. Now, you may say, well, everyone wants to have a better life. No, they don't. Because if they did, they would do the things they need to do to have a better life. And yet, they do the exact same thing they've always been doing that's got them the results they already got that they don't like. And they keep doing the same thing. So obviously they don't want to change their lives. Obviously they don't want to have a better life. There's an interesting quote from Brian Tracy. He said, in order to have a changed life, you have to change your life. And that's so true. Many people are wanting things just to change magically around them when they're not changing by renewing their mind. And to renew your mind and to be that person of a renewed mind, you're going to have to take some time and effort in the process. So when a negative thought comes up, what do? You cast it aside and you start focusing on Philippians 4:8. You think about the things that are good, that are just, that are of good report, that are lovely, that are praiseworthy, that are virtuous. And I want to give you a tool to get that process going. I wrote a book called The 7-Day Positivity Diet. It's a little booklet. It's very short, only take you about 20-30 minutes to read and to start acting, but it is powerful and will change your life if you'll follow what it says. And we're only talking about 7 days here. Now, obviously, you should do this for life, but just give it 7 days and see what happens. Try this, try what I say in it, renew your mind, and see the results. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.